Hi boys and girls. Okay, today we're going to be creating our own disco balls, and if you haven't ever seen one before, they are a sphere that has hundreds of tiny little mirrors that reflect the colors and the lights around them. Okay, so here is the beginning steps. I've got, everyone's going to have a little direction sheet to follow along in case you forget. On your sheet, you're going to start, well, let's start by putting our name and class code on the back, and then flip it over. Use your tracer to create a circle, and then use the edge of your tracer to create curved lines. So I'm going to just start down here, and then slowly move it up a little bit. Each time I move it up, I'm actually kind of noticing whether it's, for me, I'm using this little line I can see in here, and I'm just moving it forward that much so I can kind of see that little pencil line. That way I'm getting kind of an equal amount of space. You could do it going the other direction. You might be able to see it better going the other direction. I don't know, for me this works. But you're just going to create lines, curved, slightly curved lines. Oops, I lost kind of where my line was. There we go. All the way across your circle shape. And when we are done doing these lines, we're going to take our black marker and use it to create vertical lines that make it look like it has little squares, which if you look at the real deal, there's little squares all along, little squares of mirror. Okay, so we're going to stop with the pencil now. We're done with pencil. We're going to get a black marker and go around. Start by just going around your circle. Okay, now we're going to separate each one of these into little square sections. So just do lines that are vertical that make it look like little squares. You want it to look like little square mirror sections. So just, and they can be offset, meaning you probably don't want them to necessarily line up. You want it to be, it's more about this looking like a square than about whether it lines up with the row below. Okay, when you are done, you are going to use water and a paintbrush, and you do want this to be a very small brush because you don't need a lot of water. You want just a little bit of water, and you're going to use the black marker to create different values in there. So I'm just going to wake up some of that paint in some of your squares, and the water is just using the marker itself because it's washable marker to make the squares a gray value, which is what we want to make it look kind of silvery. Okay, and you want to move around. You don't want to, so if you look at an actual disco ball, do you see how it appears that there are darker places and lighter places? So some of them I'm not going to paint at all, and some of them I'm going to paint a lot because I want it to look like a real disco ball. I want it to get that feeling of a disco ball. Okay, if this happens where you can see that your colors are, you're losing your lines there, when these are all dry, we can take a Sharpie and go back in and put those lines in, so don't worry about that if that happens to you. Now we're going to use rainbow order to put some marker around the outside and create this glowing effect. So if you can't remember what rainbow order is, on the back of your direction sheet, I've got it set up here. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Okay, that is your rainbow order. So I'm going to start with red. And of course, if you want to add pinks in there, I'm going to have a light pink, but this is magenta. You can put that right in there between the reds and the purples, okay? If I were to line these up in order, it would be red. Actually, I should go this direction because we should start with red. So I'm going to do pink, red, orange, yellow. I have a couple of greens, a couple of blues, and then that violet. Okay, and I also have a couple of oranges, so I guess I could use those if I wanted to. I could use the peach one in here. Whoops. That would be kind of getting closer to that if you want to. Totally up to you if you want to add the different values of the color. Okay, I'm going to do it with all of them just so you can see what it looks like. But you're perfectly welcome to just do red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. That would be Roy G. Biv. Now I'm ready to go back into my water, and this time remember you're going to wet the marker but pull it out, pull it away from the disco ball. Don't pick up any of the black. So I'm going to go into the red and just pull this way and make it look like rays of color, glowing rays of color coming out of my disco ball. Okay, this goes on the drying rack when you're completely done.